Data in 10, where we explore real journeys of data professionals in under 10 minutes. I'm Medha, joined by my co host Anurag. Today, we are talking about international career transitions, specifically from moving to India to Canada, and what that journey really looks like beyond the headlines.
Our guest today is Shivya, a pharma professional who made the bold decision to leave her career in India and start fresh in Canada. Shivya has navigated the complete journey many just dream about, from the initial decision to move abroad, through the challenges of student life, and now securing a permanent residency and building her career in the pharma industry in Canada. Today, she'll share the real story behind this transition, the cultural shocks, the mental challenges, the job search realities, and what life actually looks like on the other side of the major life decisions.
Okay, thank you, Anurag and Mida, for having me and for, such a great introduction. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes. So, Shivya, some people make up their minds very early to settle abroad. Was that the case with you? What was your real motivation to move to Canada? Was it career growth or settlement?
So I would say I did not think that I'll move abroad very early or I did not had it planned. I had a stable career in India, but then I wanted pharma industry experience on the global horizon and get out of the comfort zone a little. And after 3 years of experience in India, it just felt like the right time for me to take this step. I chose Canada because the PR processes at that time were relatively simpler than other countries. So I was, confident in that perspective to make that move.
Interesting. Sounds like you did prioritize like the long-term game over comfort zone. That's definitely a very brave trade-off, Shivya.
We can also completely resonate to you as well because we also moved from India to
Exactly.
the UK and faced similar challenges. Moving on, Shivya, when you move abroad, one of the things that you face as a starting point is cultural shock. What was the biggest cultural shock that you faced and how did you navigate it?
I think the culture shock that I felt here was more on the positive side. Like you could drink water directly from the taps, or just the city is so walkable. So it was a shock, definitely, but good ones. And I accommodated to it as it is said that you need to unlearn to learn something new. So you just have to stop the comparison at some point that it was like this in my country and now it is like this. You just have to grow and adapt as things are.
Yeah, eventually all of these unwritten rules of a new country becomes our new normal without us even realizing it. And you know, while we are actually settling into all these unwritten rules, the clock is usually ticking on our visa status. And I believe you've already secured the permanent residency in Canada. Can you walk us through how you navigated that transition from the student visa to PR process? Because I'm sure that's a lot of paperwork and the rules have also changed a lot. So, can you walk
Right.
us through the process?
Yeah, definitely. In Canada, there are a lot of PR streams. You need to know if there is anything that fits your profile and then keep doing the work in that way. For me, I did a 1 year course in business administration, and then that allowed me to have a 1 year work permit. So I built my profile. I had the Indian education, Indian work experience. Then in Canada, I had the education. I started working after my graduation. All those helped me get to the points that are needed for PR here. Then I applied for STEM category. That used to be a thing. I was the last one that got into it. I think it is stopped right now. The rules keep changing. So you just need to see what will fit your profile. And luckily, my score was coming in the draw range and I got, like, my file got selected. The whole process in itself took 6 to 8 months after my file was selected. But it happened in a flow because I had it streamlined in my mind that I had all the documents that you require. I feel some people got a little late in the process because they started gathering the documents after they were about to graduate or were graduating. So just in the early stage only while you are a student, just keep things handy so that when you're ready to apply, you have everything. I think that was my strategy, and luckily it worked out in the way I planned.
To distill for our listeners, the process is that ideally you should think about the PR if you want it quite early. As soon as you join as a student, you should have that in your mind, what you need for it. And the other thing is that you have 1 year after your course to figure out
Yeah.
that process as well. right? With the student visa, you always get 1 year of work visa.
Sounds good. Shivya, a lot of people have
Mm-hmm.
this preconceived notion that once you get the residency, it's very easy to navigate the job market. To what extent it's true, and what is your experience in that context?
Yeah, I think I heard that exact same line when I was planning to move to Canada. That once you get a PR, you'll find a job very easy. So just focus on PR. That is a false misconception. Maybe it was easier in the previous times, but you should consider PR and work as two different things which require different kinds of effort from you. Definitely, once you have a PR, you would not have the sponsorship required from your company. So that I feel just gives you the confidence when you are in an interview, because that is a standard question you will see in a lot of forms. But other than that, if your profile is good, if your work experience matches with what the company wants, and if you can portray that mainly in the interview process, what you bring to the table, then having or not having a PR is not a big issue. So if your profile is good and you are able to match up the skills, I think that is more important than just using PR as a stamp to whatever job you can get.
Thank you for clarifying that to our listeners. Even here in the UK, people do have this milestone of achieving the residency, the ILR status, post which it's conceived that, like you would find a job very easily because companies won't have to sponsor you. But I spoke to a lot of people who have actually received the ILR, and they mentioned that it's not a lot different. It totally depends on your skill set. If you're good enough to bag a job, you're good enough to bag a job with a visa and or without it.
Right. And in UK as well, it's like once you do the study and then you get a work visa and then residency.
You get a graduate visa after your master's. You can work here for
Mm-hmm.
2 years, which has now, I think, changed to 18 months or so. Once you're out of the graduate visa, then you have to get a skilled worker visa. There are other visa routes as well.
Oh,
But skilled worker visa is another visa which is sponsored by your company. And you have to be on a skilled worker visa for about 5 years as per current rules in order to be eligible for an ILR, which is an equivalent of PR in Canada. So it's tougher
okay.
in UK as compared to
Yeah.
Canada.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Shifting slightly towards your career journey personally, can you briefly share what your current role is and what a typical day looks like for you?
Right, sure. I currently work as a senior analyst in business consulting, distinctive. It supports pharmaceutical clients primarily in the rare disease and oncology space. And my role is very strategy and insight driven, from setting up analytics for new launches to building dashboards and working closely with commercial, patient support, and other teams. A typical day involves like a lot of stakeholder collaboration, problem solving, and translating data into decisions, and creating the final reports that can be shared to the stakeholders. There is a lot of ownership and flexibility.
Shivya, we work together in India, and I believe the domain you have right now is same as what you had before, just the therapeutic areas are different. How would you say the work culture is in Canada versus India?
The comparison with India, I think I definitely feel like work life balance is here in Canada. In India, we just take it for granted, or the working hours mentioned on the job description does not really fit into the culture. And I feel in India, the career progression is also very structured in a way that it happens very fast, and the roles keep changing, the responsibility keeps getting add on because of the higher expectations from you and the long work hours that are expected out of you. Here, I feel like mostly companies are structured in a way they focus on the depth of the profile rather than changing the roles very frequently. So once they're confident that you have grown in it and you're taking all the responsibilities end to end, then you might want to move to another role or take more things in your bucket.
Absolutely. I can completely resonate with you. I think the thing that you mentioned about the career progression in India, sometimes the roles can be very dynamic and the career progression can be faster. I think that has also to do with the fact that your role is more execution based and less of strategy based. And when strategic mix, stakeholder mix, and the depth that you mentioned, all of those components get added onto your profile becomes a
Hmm.
bit harder. Obviously, I'm not generalizing it, but on an
Yeah.
average, across similar roles, let's say onshore versus offshore counterpart, the onshore counterpart has bigger responsibilities, but not maybe on the execution horizontal,
Definitely.
on a strategic horizontal. Okay, rapid fire time.
Yes, Shiva, we have a fun exercise for you. We have going to do a rapid fire round with you, and you
Okay.
have to answer these questions without thinking. Just what comes on top of your mind.
Going to put me into a tough spot.
No, just so we can get honest opinions out of you and our audience can gain the most out of it. Yeah? Ready?
Yes.
Great. The first question is India or Canada?
Canada for lifestyle and balance.
Makes sense. Biggest misconception people have about moving to Canada?
Once you get a PR, it's very easy to find a job.
Describe Canada in 3 words.
Snow, polite, and Tim Hortons.
I love that. One thing you wish you'd prepared for before moving.
How long it takes to emotionally connect to the place and build your social circle here.
That definitely resonates. What was tougher, being a student or finding your first job?
Finding your first job, that is the testing phase.
And best advice for someone considering this move?
Be clear on the why and be ready to start anew.
Would you recommend Canada to others looking to relocate?
Yes, only if they're ready for the effort and not just the dream.
Amazing answer. I love that. Thank you, Shivya. That was super insightful. Really enjoyed talking to you, knowing about Canada, knowing about your personal journey. And I wish you all the best for whatever is in store for you next.
Thank you so much, Meeta, and thank you, Anurag. I really enjoyed being here. It felt really nice to share these things with you and listen to conversations around UK. It was so nice and relatable in some sense. We're all in the same boat, just going through life and making through it.
Thank you so much, Shivya. To our listeners, we hope this episode offered clarity and realistic expectations in terms of moving abroad and moving to Canada. That's Data in 10. We'll see you in the next episode.